On the morning of 7th December 1941, the Japanese Navy launched a surprise military assault on the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor, located on Oahu Island, Hawaii. This meticulously planned attack aimed to neutralize the US Pacific Fleet, thereby clearing the way for Japanese expansion across the Pacific and Southeast Asia. Tensions between the United States and Japan had been escalating for years, fueled by Japan's imperial ambitions in Asia and America's opposition to Japanese aggression in China and Indochina. Despite warnings and war alerts issued to US military commanders in late November 1941, preparations at Pearl Harbor were inadequate, as neither local nor Washington officials believed an attack on the base itself was imminent. At 7:55 a.m., the first wave of Japanese bombers and torpedo planes struck, catching the base almost completely off guard. The assault lasted less than 2 hours, but wrought devastating damage. Over 2,300 Americans were killed, and more than 1,100 wounded. The battleships USS Arizona and USS Oklahoma suffered catastrophic losses. The Arizona was destroyed, and the Oklahoma capsized. In total, 18 warships were sunk or seriously damaged, including 8 battleships, and more than 300 aircraft were destroyed or damaged. The attack was executed in 2 waves, with the second wave meeting slightly more organized resistance, but the American losses far outweighed those of the Japanese attackers. Notably, none of the US aircraft carriers were present at Pearl Harbor during the attack, a stroke of luck that would prove crucial in the coming Pacific conflict. The shock of the attack reverberated across the United States. News of the devastation galvanized public opinion, uniting Americans behind the government's response. On 8 December, President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed a joint session of Congress, famously declaring 7th December a date which will live in infamy and asking for a declaration of war against Japan. Congress swiftly approved the declaration, and the United States formally entered World War II. Within days, Germany and Italy, honoring their alliance with Japan, declared war on the United States, thrusting the nation into a truly global conflict. The attack on Pearl Harbor had immediate and far-reaching consequences. The US military rapidly reorganized, with key command positions shifting to trusted officers to prepare for the demands of a world war. The American public, previously divided over involvement in the conflict, now overwhelmingly supported the war effort, as shown by a Gallup poll in which 97% of Americans approved of the declaration of war. The attack also led to heightened suspicion and eventual internment of Japanese Americans, especially on the West Coast and in Hawaii, as fears of espionage and sabotage gripped the nation. Japan's simultaneous offensives on American, British, and Dutch territories across the Pacific, such as the Philippines, Guam, Singapore, and Hong Kong, demonstrated the broader scope of its expansionist strategy. However, while the attack on Pearl Harbor temporarily crippled the US Pacific Fleet, it failed to destroy vital American repair facilities, oil storage tanks, and, most importantly, the aircraft carriers. This allowed the United States to recover more quickly than Japan had anticipated and to mount a powerful counteroffensive in the months and years that followed. In summary, the events of 7th December 1941 marked a turning point in world history. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor not only drew the United States into World War II but also transformed the nation's military, political, and social landscape. The swift and unified American response set the stage for the eventual defeat of the Axis powers and reshaped the global order for generations to come.